We good? We ready?
Mr. Hammond, we ready? Thank you.
Okay. Good evening. This is the July 18th, 2023 regular council meeting of the City of South Fulton City Council. I would like to call the meeting to order. Mr. Clerk, if you would please sound the first item.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon. First item on tonight's agenda is the invocation by the Reverend Tanji Clark with the Restorative Christian Ministries. Welcome, Reverend Clark.
Thank you. To Mayor Pro Tem Williams and Council, let us pray. Father God, in the name of the Most High God, your name, we come thank you for this time in your presence, dear God. We realize that it's not by accident, but by divine providence that you've gathered us here. Dear God, we ask that your showers of grace and mercy reign in the lives of the Mayor Pro Tem and the Council. And dear God, we ask that it resonates throughout the city of South Fulton. Dear God, we ask for divine favor in every area of government. We ask for divine favor in every area of order, dear God. We ask that you continue to lead this city in the manner that you see fit, and we ask that you restore those things that need to be restored. It is in the matchless name of the Most High God that we give you praise. And the people of God said, amen.
Amen. Thank you.
We'll now have the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Please sound the next item.
Next item is a roll call for tonight's meeting. The Honorable Catherine F. Rowell, District 1.
Present.
The Honorable Carmalitha Gumbs, District 2.
Present.
The Honorable Helen Z. Willis, District 3.
Present.
The Honorable
Present.
Jaceey Sebastian, District 4.
Present.
The Honorable Corey A. Reeves, District 5. The Honorable Natasha Williams Brown, District 6.
Present.
The Honorable Linda B. Pritchett, District 7.
Here.
And the Honorable Mayor Khalid is absent. Madam Mayor Pro Tem, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Please sound the next item.
Next item is approval of City Council meeting minutes, regular meeting minutes from May 23rd, 2023, work session minutes from July 11th, 2023, alcohol zoning public hearing minutes from July 11th, 2023, and special call meeting minutes from June 9th, 2023, and July 7th, 2023.
I move to approve the meeting minutes as read.
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded that we approve the minutes as read. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, are we ready for the question? Mr. Clerk, roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Councilmember Rowell.
Yes.
Councilmember Gumbs.
Yes.
Councilmember Willis.
Yes.
Councilmember Sebastian.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Williams Brown.
Yes.
Councilmember Pritchett.
Yes.
Those items are approved unanimously.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, please sound the next item.
Next item is Roman numeral 6. It's adoption of the council agenda. Madam Mayor Pro Tem and Council, there are a number of items that we wish to amend this evening. The first being the removal of a proclamation recognizing Christopher Eubanks. Also, the removal of item 17, which was a Homeland Security grant. The correction on item 16, instead of the word grant, that should be donation. The addition of a Code Enforcement Board appointee for Councilmember Pritchett, Mr. DeAndre Pickett, to the Code Enforcement Board.
Mr. Clerk,
And that's all of the items that I have.
Is that 17?
Excuse me?
Is that now 17? The
17,
appointment?
yeah, that's
Board
removal.
appointment?
Removal.
Yes.
Madam Chair, I have a change I wanted to recommend.
Councilman Sebastian.
If we can move executive session up and after public comments, please. And if it's the will of the council, also item 37 to be right after public comment as well.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Councilman Sebastian. Are there any other adjustments to the agenda? Councilman Rowell?
This question, just a question for Councilman Sebastian. This is pretty lengthy. Is there a particular item that warrants it at the top of the agenda? The executive session?
Yes, there's item here with regards to some personnel for the city manager. We need to discuss that in executive session with the entire board.
I just want to respect people's time. I understand we have to talk, but is it time sensitive that it has to be at the top of the agenda?
It is.
Okay.
Madam City Manager, are there any other items for executive session besides our personnel items?
There is a real estate item.
There's a real estate item.
Two real estate items, but they should not be lengthy.
Councilman Sebastian, since public comment isn't, we've got a good bit of stuff before public comment. Do you want to move it above consent agenda items?
Sorry, Madam Chair. Above what?
No, I was looking at, we have planning and zoning, then we have consent agenda, then public comments, and then you wanted to do executive session. I was asking, do you think that we should move the executive session up until to where it's after planning, zoning, and permits, so we can go ahead and get that out of the way? Because I understand that people do need to leave.
So you're recommending making it item 6? Is that what you're talking about?
Adoption of council agenda, proclamations, planning, zoning. So does that become item 9 and consent becomes item 10?
That's fine. That's even earlier. We can knock it out and move on.
Right.
Discussion.
If it's the will of the body.
Councilwoman Willis.
Item number 26 is personnel. Can we just do it there? Since item number 26 is personnel, we can just recess into executive session at number 26. I move that I'm going to make a motion at this time. I want to make a substitute motion that we recess into executive session at item number 26, personnel, for executive session for real estate, personnel, and litigation. Councilman Rogers, second.
We have a substitute motion to do executive session as item number 26, personnel. Councilman Sebastian, does that give you enough time to be able to get to the airport and make your flight?
That's fine.
Okay, it has been properly moved and seconded. The substitute motion to move executive session up to Roman numeral 7, item number 26. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, are we ready for the question?
Madam Mayor Pro Tem, for the record, that includes all of the corrections that I read as well.
Yes, including all of the corrections. Mr. Clerk, roll call vote.
Roll call vote to approve the agenda as amended. Councilmember Rowell? Councilmember Gumbs?
Yes.
Councilmember Willis?
Yes.
Councilmember Sebastian?
No.
Councilmember Reeves?
Nay.
Mayor Pro Tem Williams-Brown?
No.
Councilmember Pritchett?
Yes.
That item is approved 4-3.
Okay. Mr. Clerk, please sound the next item.
Next item on page 2, number 5, proclamations and presentations. Proclamation presentation recognizing Verena Hunt for community cleanup efforts in the Wolf Creek corridor. This is sponsored by Councilmember Gumbs.
All right. Well, first of all, this is one of my residents here in District 2, and she reached out. Well, actually, was it Brandon? You all came up with an idea to clean the corridor. Of course, you all know that sanitation and the trash issue that we have in the city is extremely important to a lot of us here in the community. And she decided to actually just go out and start cleaning. We have a lot of residents like that. So one day we actually was riding by and had an opportunity to see you cleaning up. And I was like, it's hot. This lady just took her time and it took you all day. So we do appreciate those small efforts as a resident here of going off and cleaning up the community. So with that being said, you are now our community advocate for District 2. And I'll give her a hand. So you are setting the example, and hopefully we'll have more residents across the city that will follow your lead. Because again, government can't do it alone. And of course, we can't do it as fast as if we just get out there and do it ourselves. So I'm gonna read this proclamation to you and present it to you. Whereas the health and prosperity of our community depends on a clean and healthy environment, and whereas the people of the city of South Fulton and District 2 value the maintaining and enhancement of our surrounding communities, and whereas the city of South Fulton recognizes the necessity of taking action as a collective to address environmental problems and advance sustainability, and whereas at an early age, Verena Hunt learned from her grandmother the importance of hard work, self-care, and taking pride in one's community. And whereas Verena takes pride in the city of South Fulton by pushing her neighbors to keep our city clean from plastic litter and other debris that plasters our commercial parking lots and clusters the right-of-way. And whereas Verena understands it takes a village to protect our city from litter and illegal dumping, and that we all must take part in efforts to clean our environment. And whereas on Monday, May 29th, 2023, Verena organized a community cleanup at the Sandtown Plaza where she single-handedly cleaned the parking lot and continued her efforts on Eden Road, cleaning from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. And whereas Verena pledges not to litter, encourages her community to recycle, and educates others on the importance of making a difference in keeping the city clean, the city of South Fulton beautiful. And whereas Marina's favorite quote from Maya Angelou motivates her to encourage the city to make environmental strides. Do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better. And now therefore be resolved, the mayor and city council members of the city of South Fulton, and on behalf of the over 108,000 residents that reside in this city, hereby proclaim and recognize Thursday, actually July 18th, it's supposed to be Tuesday, I'm sorry. Is today Tuesday? Yeah, today, Tuesday, July 18th, 2023, as a citywide celebration as Marina Hunt Appreciation Day in the city of South Fulton, and encourages all residents to extend our best wishes for the beacon of light in our community. Thank you for all that you do.
It's important to me because I take pride in where I live, and I just want to continue the effort and make sure that I get a lot of people on board and we can keep our community safe, clean, healthy, you know, and just encourage everybody to have the same mindset and to do the same things.
Thank you so much and congratulations.
Next proclamation presentation is a proclamation presentation to Rendell Quentin Rowell, community activist. This is sponsored by Councilmember Gumbs.
Are y'all related? Where you from? Are you from? All right, you guys, I have one more proclamation where I want to recognize one of our citizens for their hard work as well. So I'm going to read this proclamation and then you're going to say something? All right, good. All right. So this is for Reginald Quentin Rowell, community activist, your proclamation. Whereas, again, a clean and healthy community is essential for the well-being and prosperity of residents, whereas environmental sustainability and the preservation of natural resources are paramount for future generations, and whereas a clean and litter-free environment promotes a sense of pride, unity, and safety within the community, and whereas after graduating from trade school, Reginald Quentin Rowell moved to Atlanta in 1998 to start his HVAC career, and whereas during the early stages of his company, Great Works Heating and Air, LLC, he lost his wife to breast cancer. And whereas in 2014, Reginald and Elizabeth Ross moved into their beautiful home in the Summit at Stonewall Tail subdivision with great neighbors. And whereas in 2022, Reginald and Elizabeth Ross married as a proud and devoted Christians of the Renaissance Church of Christ. That's my church. I gotta give it plug. Reginald loves his community and was disheartened to see his neighborhood littered with plastic, trash, and debris. Whereas Reginald received several compliments from people bumping their horns or pulling up to say thank you, inspiring them to clean their neighborhood. And whereas on March 22nd, 2023, Reginald caught the attention of WSB-TV reporter Taisha Fernandez, who did a story on the improvements to the District 2 intersection at Stonewall Tail Road, which would make it safer for Reginald to continue his initiative to keep the city of South Fulton beautiful. And whereas Reginald aims to see his community come together to keep the city of South Fulton litter-free and take pride in what we have as a city. Whereas Reginald's greatest inspiration comes from Jesus, as he motivates himself daily by asking not what your community can do for you, but what you can do for your community. And now therefore be resolved, the mayor and city council, members of the city of South Fulton, on behalf of the over 108,000 residents that reside in the city of South Fulton, hereby proclaim and recognize Tuesday, July 18, 2023, as a citywide celebration as Reginald Quentin Rowell Appreciation Day, and encourages all residents to extend our best wishes for the beacon of light in our community. How you feeling? Would you like to say something?
First and all, of course, God gets all the glory and all the honor. I just want to thank you all for acknowledging us individuals, because we do this from the heart. We love our community. We take pride in our community because it's a gift that's been blessed, we've been blessed with. And so for me, just try to, be an inspiration to my community, and prayerfully others would see it and they would catch on and they would do it as well. But if not, I'm still going to do it. And that's it.
Thank you for all that you do. Wait a minute, you gotta take your picture now. All right. Did you want to bring your wife up? Is she here? Come on, dog. Oh, she gotta take a picture. Oh, okay.
Mr. Clerk, please sound the next item.
That brings us to Roman numeral 8, number 6, planning zoning permits for a vote. Number 6 is alcohol license, change of ownership. Grown and Sexy Tavern for an alcohol license for the consumption of wine, beer, and distilled beverages at 3461 Roosevelt Highway, South Fulton, Georgia. This is located in District 3.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve this measure, Grown and Sexy Tavern, for an alcohol license for consumption of wine, beer, distilled beverages.
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded that we approve the alcohol license for Grown and Sexy Tavern. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, are we ready for the question? Yes. Mr. Clerk, roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Councilmember Rowell?
Yes.
Councilmember Gumbs?
Yes.
Councilmember Willis?
Yes.
Councilmember Sebastian?
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves? Mayor Pro Tem Williams-Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Pritchett?
Yes.
That item is approved unanimously.
Yes. Thank you. Mr. Clerk, please sound the next item.
Next item is item 7, Exxon Food Mart for an alcohol license for the retail sale of wine and beer beverages at 5955 Fulton Industrial Boulevard, South Fulton, Georgia. It's located in District 1.
I move that we approve the alcohol license for the retail sale of wine and beer for Exxon Food Market, 5955 Fulton Industrial Boulevard.
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded that we approve the alcohol license for Exxon Food Mart. Are we ready for the question?
Yes.
Mr. Clerk, roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Councilmember Rowell?
Yes.
Councilmember Gumbs?
Yes.
Councilmember Willis?
Yes.
Councilmember Sebastian?
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves? Mayor Pro Tem Williams-Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Pritchett?
Yes.
That item is approved unanimously.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, please sound the next item.
That brings us to item 8, number 8, Commercial and Community Development. Z23-006, second read of an ordinance to rezone from Sub A and AG1 to R4 for property located at 2601 Flat Shoals Road. This is located in District 6.
Thank you. I will entertain a motion. And I think I have to make the motion, don't I?
No. I make a motion to approve the second read of an ordinance to rezone from Sub-A, single-family dwelling, and AG1 for property located at 2601 Flat Shoals Road.
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded to approve second read of an ordinance to rezone Sub-A and AG1 to R4 for the property at 2601 Flat Shoals Road. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, are we ready for the question? Mr. Clerk, roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Councilmember Rowell.
Yes.
Councilmember Gumbs.
Yes.
Councilmember Willis.
Yes.
Councilmember Sebastian.
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves. Mayor Pro Tem Williams-Brown.
Yes.
Councilmember Pritchett.
Yes.
That item is approved unanimously.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, please sound the next item.
Next item is item 9, U23-005. This is second read of an ordinance for a special use permit for churches and other facilities for religious organizations, worship pursuant to Code Section 207.06 for property located at 2601 Flat Shoals Road. This is located in District 6.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion.
I motion to approve an ordinance for the special use permit of churches and other facilities, religious organizations, worship pursuant to Code Section 207.06 for property located at 2601 Flat Shoals Road. And I also, which is U23-005, I also motion to approve U23-003, an ordinance to approve a special use permit for churches and for other facilities for religious organizations worship pursuant to Code 207.06 for property located at 2300 Sheriff Road in District 6.
Second and vote.
It has been properly moved and seconded that we approve the second read of an ordinance for a special use permit for a property located at 2601 Flat Shoals Road, item U23-005, and to approve U23-003, second read of an ordinance to approve a special use permit for churches, other facilities of religious organizations for property at 2300 Sheriff Road. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, are we ready for the question? Mr. Clerk, roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Councilmember Rowell.
Yes.
Councilmember Gumbs.
Yes.
Councilmember Willis.
Yes.
Councilmember Sebastian.
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves. Mayor Pro Tem Williams-Brown.
Yes.
Councilmember Pritchett.
Yes.
Both of those items were approved unanimously.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, would you please sound the next item?
Next item is item 11, U23-006, an application by Neville Homes, LLC, requesting a special use permit to operate a short-term rental at 2460 Neville's Road, South Fulton, Georgia, 30349. It's located in District 6.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the application by Neville Homes LLC requesting a special use permit to operate a short-term rental at 2460 Neville's Road, South Fulton, Georgia.
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded that we approve the application by Neville Homes requesting a special use permit to operate short-term rental at 2460 Neville's Road. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Councilmember Rowell.
I think at our last meeting, we just wanted clarity on the number, if there had been any police incidents at this residence.
Thank you for that question. According to the police reports, there have been 4 incidents reported on Neville's Road. There was one report of a garage door that was left open that seems to have been called in by a neighbor. There are 2 reports of vehicles attempting to evade police who were doing a suppression detail on Old National and turned onto Neville's Road. And then there was one report of a domestic dispute involving a rental car.
I'm sorry, you don't have a key, so we could only say discussion.
Did that answer your question, Councilwoman Rowell?
Just want to clarify, that's over the whole 5 years?
That's over the whole 5 years.
So that's 4.
So that's 4 incidents, only one of which appears to be actually tied to the property itself.
Thank you for that clarification.
Councilwoman Willis.
And just to clarify, you might be able to answer this. Mr. McClendon did say that this is a traditional Airbnb. He did make that distinction.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
He did.
I yield.
Thank you. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, are we ready for the question? Mr. Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Roll call vote, Councilmember Rowell?
Yeah. Was the motion made?
Yes, we have
Okay,
a
yes.
motion by, yes.
Yes.
Councilmember Gumbs?
Yes.
Councilmember Willis?
Yes.
Councilmember Sebastian?
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves? Mayor Pro Tem Williams-Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Pritchett?
Yes.
That item was approved unanimously.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, please sound the next item.
That brings us to the consent agenda, which includes the corrections made earlier in the adoption of the agenda.
I move that we approve the consent items, which would cover items 12 through 20.
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded that we approve the consent agenda items number 12 through 20. Is there any discussion?
I have a question.
Councilman Reeves.
I just want to know, did all these go to legal? Every one of these items on the consent agenda?
Councilman Reeves, some of these, for example, are proclamations which council would do. Others would have gone through, like for plats, would have gone through the CDI director. In some shape, form, or fashion, they will either cross my desk or one of my staff's desks.
So items 13 through 19 went through the legal process?
With exception, for example, like proclamations or something to that effect.
That's all, thank you.
Thank you. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, are we ready for the question? Mr. Clerk, roll call vote.
Roll call vote, Councilmember Rowell?
Yes.
Councilmember Gumbs?
Yes.
Councilmember Willis?
Yes.
Councilmember Sebastian?
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves?
Nay.
Mayor Pro Tem Williams-Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Pritchett?
Yes.
Consent agenda is approved as amended, 6-1.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, please sound the next item.
That brings us to public comments. Prior to reading the list of persons that have signed up for this evening's public comment, I will read the rules for making public comment. The City of South Fulton believes that any resident or business owner located in the city limits should be afforded the opportunity to address the mayor and city council, provided that designated rules are followed by the speaker. Any City of South Fulton resident or business owner who wishes to address the mayor and city council and offer public comment on any item on the agenda and may do so. Comments shall be limited to 2 minutes per speaker. Public comments should be limited to only those items appearing on the current city council meeting agenda. Each speaker must complete and submit a request to speak form in its entirety prior to the beginning of the meeting. The person or City of South Fulton business owner desiring to speak should rise, address the city council, and when recognized, state their name, residential or business address, the agenda item that you are addressing, and the city council district in which you reside. All remarks shall be addressed to the council as a whole and not to any member. To ensure the opportunity for all desiring to speak before the city council, there is no yielding of time to another speaker. Speakers may not disrupt the city council meeting by speaking for too long, by being unduly repetitious, and by extending discussion or irrelevancies. Speakers may not employ obscenities or threats of violence in their comments. Speakers should not be allowed to make remarks that have been legally recognized not to be protected speech. Comments while addressing the council. Speakers may not use public comments to campaign for public office, either for themselves or on behalf of other candidates, for the purpose of limiting political influence on city employees and encouraging orderly and efficient meetings. With those rules being read into the record, I did receive one comment card from a gentleman or young lady from Roswell. Unfortunately, you will not be able to provide comment at this meeting. As I call your name, please approach one of the 2 microphones, state your name, address, the item on the agenda which you are addressing this evening, and the City Council District. Tonight's speakers are Condia Perry, Glenda Collins, Chandra Simmons, Pamela Harris. Are any of those persons present? Condia Perry, Glenda Collins, Chandra Simmons. I see Ms. Harris. Pam Harris, Jewel Johnson, William Paul.
Good evening. My name is Pamela Harris. I live in Montclair Estates, District 1, and I have two questions. The first question, can you tell me why you're asking for an amendment to the interim city manager's contract? It was previously stated that it would be for 6 months while the city conducts a search for a permanent city manager. Question number 2, can you tell me where the city has searched and where I can find the job postings? That's the end of my questions, and hopefully when you do the recap, some of these questions can be answered. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson.
My name is Jewel Johnson, and I reside. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I hear myself now. I'm Jewel Johnson. I reside at 4660 Orkney Lane in District 1. And I have a couple of questions that I would like to ask to Mayor Tim Paul and the council, okay? My first question is, can you tell me where to find the job posting for any of the temporary positions that taxpayers are paying a premium for? My next question is, can you tell me how much of a percentage of the Karen Solution contract is paid to the actual employees, and how much goes into the pocket of our interim city manager? She's the owner of that company, correct? Those are the questions that, at the appropriate time, that I would like for the council to answer for me and for the rest of the city. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. William Paul, are you present? William Paul? Okay, thank you. Secondia Perry, Glenda Collins, Chandra Simmons. I don't think they're present. With that, Madam Mayor Pro Tem and Council, that completes the eligible speakers for tonight's meeting.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, please sound the next item.
That brings us to council comments.
I want to take this opportunity to thank everybody who participated and came out for the Men's Mental Health Conference. We had great participation and great discussion. I'm looking forward to bringing that back at a future date. A really important conversation. I want to thank you for that. On August 3rd and 4th, we'll be hosting book bag giveaway for A. Phillip Randolph and Sandtown Middle School to make sure our scholars are well equipped to go back to school. And so those are my two brief updates.
Good evening, and thank you all for coming out. I have a few comments. On July 22nd, Stonewall Tell Elementary will be hosting its annual Beautification Day. There's still room for volunteers, so if you are interested in coming out and helping our scholars get ready to enhance the beauty of the school, we would love to have you. So that is on July 22nd of this year. Also, too, on August the 1st, our amazing South Fulton Police Department will be hosting its annual National Night Out on Old National Highway. It's usually really a good time, great food, great fellowship with your neighbors. So I do encourage residents to come out and we celebrate our police officers and just being educated on safety. Also, too, on August the 3rd, we will host a special screening for Plastic Earth and Environmental Social. That means we'll feed you. This will be an essential event to engage our community in developing environmentally conscious habits. And of course, July is Plastic Free Month. So we are making sure that we push a lot of things that are plastic free. So we will have city resources, we'll have vendors, food and special guests. So please check your social media or follow my newsletters to RSVP. And we've had quite a good response so far. Also, too, on August the 3rd, Cliftondale Elementary will be hosting their open house for the new year. Parents will be able to come out and meet teachers and engage with the community. There will also be some additional, I will be there, as well as a lot of community leaders. So we do encourage you to come out and meet your community. Also, too, on August the 5th, which is a very busy day in the city of South Fulton, Renaissance Church has partnered with me, and we will be hosting a book bag giveaway. So we do encourage you all. It is a drive-through giveaway, so you just come through and register, follow the QRC code that is on the flyer or in the newsletter, and register so you can get your free book bag and supplies for your kiddies for them to go back to school. Also, too, on August the 5th is the A-Town Music Fest, and hopefully at Wolf Creek Amphitheater, this is our first concert after our Juneteenth celebration, so we're hoping that this will be a good time. If you have not gotten your tickets, please go out and get your tickets and come out and celebrate with the council. This is a lot of Atlanta artists that will be out and about, so it'll be a real good time, so please join us. And on August the 12th, we got a lot of stuff going on, but this is the last thing. On August the 12th, District 2 will be hosting this sensational Senior Health Day at Wolf Creek Library. This little group has been growing. It's an excellent opportunity to engage with city resources and other seniors in the community. We are raffling off some sneakers, so we do ask that you RSVP, but you have to be a senior. So don't be 38 and then trying to register for some tennis shoes. But again, I encourage you all to continue to support our city, come to these council meetings, and support your council. Thank you, and have a great day.
Councilmember Willis.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to be very brief because I have a newsletter that I sent out, and if you're not getting it, I will tell you how to get it, and I will keep you updated via newsletter. We are having Wakanda Forever and the screening of Black Panther 2 on Friday, July 21st at Welcome Park, and we will have some entertainment starting at 8 o'clock, and right after the entertainment, the movie will preview. We will have popcorn. We will also have refreshments free to the community. So please make sure if you have not registered, go out and register and make sure you attend. We have over 300 participants at this time registered. We are, as far as back to school events, I am partnering, as I always do, with many churches throughout the city of South Fulton and in District 3. So just stay tuned in my newsletter. What I try to do is focus on the most needed communities. Thank you for coming out. It's good to see some of my District 3 residents, Ms. Mormon and Ms. Logan. Thank you for coming out to the meeting. And if you're not getting my newsletter, please make sure you text District 3, 428-428. You can also send me an email at helen.willis@cityofsouthfultonga.gov. You can reach me directly via my city cell, 404-803-4219. Some of you have my personal number, but my city number, I just gave that to you. And if I miss any other District 3 residents, please chalk it up to the mind and not to my heart. But I really do need you to continue to come, stay engaged, and sign up for my newsletter so you can know what's happening in the city of South Fulton. Thank you.
Councilman Sebastian.
Thank you, Madam Mayor Pro Tem. First of all, I want to say happy 99th birthday to District 4 resident, Miss Mary Louise Bishop Brown. Madam Pro Tem, I don't know if that's family, but she celebrated her 99th birthday this past week, and I'm looking forward to celebrating that 100th with her next year. Just want to thank the community for coming out and supporting the book bag giveaway this past Saturday. Just again want to thank staff for helping to organize. As usual, the amazing folks over there at Parks and Recs for the logistics, the police department, the fire department, who came out, as well as Ms. Muhammad, who took some beautiful pictures last Saturday. I just wanted to say to all those people who have called about Merck Miles being closed and the difficulty that you have had getting some bulk dumped at Welcome All, that I've heard you, and so on the 29th of July at Cedar Grove Park, we're going to be doing a free bulk and recycle day from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. So, you know, all those things that you have not been able to dump so far, just bring on over, and it's absolutely free, paid for by your tax dollars. For HOA leaders, again in District 4, spoken to a number of you, and again, I hear you, and we're going to be organizing a series of roundtable with our police department right across District 4. We're going to bring all the issues to the table that we've been recognizing consistently across different areas of District 4. We're going to see if we can get some solutions put in place and how we work closer with our police department. The only other thing I want to mention is on September 16th is our annual Fall Festival at Wilkinson Mill Park, and details are listed in my newsletter, and the flyer will be circulating shortly. Again, thank you, citizens who are here, for coming out and for staying engaged with your city. Thank you.
Councilman Reeves.
Thank you, Madam Pro Tem, Mayor Pro Tem. I'm just going to try to say this, and I'm going to try to not to get out of character. But however, I'm wearing this white T-shirt today because this is what you get when you release from prison. And so this is in an effort to reduce recidivism, because we don't want people to receive a second white T-shirt. And so what we want to do is give them every opportunity that we can for them in this community and a help in the effort to reduce violent crime. And so how many of you know that the last class is taking place right at Burdett Gym tonight at 6:30 to 8:30 in the first ever introductory trade certificate course in becoming an electrician? How many of y'all know that in the crowd? This is the last class. This Friday is them graduating for the certificate program. This Friday. It's the first ever in the nation to ever take place through Parks and Recs. The career opportunity that they have come Monday is from Universal Lighting Solutions of Georgia, where they have received a 2-week pay training earning between $18 to $22 an hour, no matter what the background that you have. For 2 weeks pay training to become on the career opportunity. How many know that the Federal Workforce Investment Act, the federal dollars, will pay for the graduates of the certificate program to continue to go down to become the journeyman in their specific trade, offered through our Parks and Recs? How many of y'all know that? Show of hands? Nobody. And this is the most disheartening thing that can be imagined. Because we talk about recidivism, we talk about public safety, but in the highest crime district, District 5, where we had 4 murders last week, 4. One of them 16, one of them 27, who leaves behind a wife and 2 kids. Where are the resources being put towards that? Yes, we don't run from issues, we run to them. We have solutions. There are being solutions made, but minimized and marginalized by this very city. Where are we doing? Where's our resources? Why is it not going towards the programs that implement and want to implement the change and helping reduce violent crimes? How many of y'all know that there was a walk this past Saturday morning connected to links to reduce gun violence? The 13th year now. Y'all want to tell me how long they had to go through the permitting process? Do y'all want to hear about that? Where's our public safety? Why are we not participating in those things? We're going to approve on an agenda an item from a grant to reduce community violent crimes going towards the real-time crime center and other mechanisms. Where are the investments in the organizations that are doing the things necessary in the communities where this is taking place? District 5 is the highest crime rate, y'all. 7 murders this year. 4 last week. And as we walk down past Camelot, I know every single one of y'all heard of Camelot. Every single one of y'all in here has. No, that's ground zero. On the way back, we walked through Camelot. Later on that day, they was pulling a body out of 3 Lakes right behind Camelot. But on the news reports, they kept saying that. Where's our investment? Where are the highlights from the people that are doing the very things necessary to curtail the crime in this city? I'm pissed off. But like I said, I'm going to try to be calm about the events and things that taking place right here and being marginalized by the very necessary things. But we will spend money on frivolous nonsense. Don't talk about crime. Don't talk about recidivism if your actions are not going to line up with what your mouth say. Because your actions is going to speak loud and clear to me. Go look at the actions that's taking place by the departments that are doing something right now. Forget the championship basketball game that's taking place this week at 8 o'clock. Forget the concert series celebrating the graduates. But the most important part of this series is the graduation of the inaugural class of Workforce Academy offered through Parks and Recs through trade. And it's not even mentioned. Not even mentioned. The trajectory of 26 lives are changed right here in our community, in our city. And it doesn't even get a mention. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have the highest crime district. Yes, we are doing everything that we can to come to the solution. And just like Mr. Rowell said, if nobody else is going to do it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to speak up for it. Loud and clear. And I'm not going to be silenced on this issue because it's an epidemic of a murderous spirit in our atmosphere. What are we going to do about it?
Councilwoman Pritchett. I want to thank everyone that came out this last week for the Tax Talk Town Hall meeting. I thank Commissioner Marvin Arrington for sending Fulton County Deputy Chief Appraiser, Mr. Jim Whitman, that gave us a comprehensive presentation about the property tax assessments and how you can apply for an appeal. And I want to remind everyone that July 24th is the deadline for that appeal. I've sent out some information about that in my newsletter, which you can find on the city website. I also would like to let you know that we have a back-to-school bash that I will be participating in with retired NFL player Evan Oglesby and the Evan Oglesby Foundation, and this will be at the Ivy Community Center at 3850 Stone Road. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of activities for the youth, sports conditioning activities. So I encourage you to come out in that Sunday, July 23rd from 12 to 3 p.m. I will also be having a District 7 back-to-school giveaway on July 29th from 2 to 5 p.m., and that will be at the 50-yard line. We're going to give away book bags, supplies, food, and just have lots of fun and activities for everyone. I haven't talked about this with anyone in our city, but a few months ago, in the month of May, I was at the National League of Cities conference, and we were on a tour dealing with city preparedness, and I got a phone call from a number. They kept calling and I didn't recognize the number, and I finally answered, and it was my son, my oldest son, and he called me frantic because he had just been carjacked at gunpoint, and he ran in the bushes, and the family saw him and told him to run in the house, but the people that saw the incident said that the person who did that got out of the car and pointed his gun to kill my son. I immediately got on the phone with Major Denard, and because of the technology that we have, Major Denard got in contact with City of Atlanta immediately, which is where it took place, and within 5 minutes, they were in a high-speed chase with the individuals. The car was crashed, it almost crashed into a house, but they were able to take 2 individuals off the street that were convicted felons, and known as killers. So I want to say that sometimes people have this perspective about the police, but I'd like to thank Major Denard. I'd like to thank our police department, because with all that, we took some really dangerous people off the street, and it helped to preserve the life of my son. And I also want to give a shout out to Lieutenant Healy, who after that did a lot of patrol around my house and around my neighborhood to make sure my son was safe, because I was out of town. And my son is a grown man, but still, when someone points a gun in your face, it's hard to go to sleep. It's hard when people have your information because they stole all your personal items and your registration is in the glove box and all that stuff. And I always say that people usually don't really care about something in the same way until it happens to them. And this issue, it hit home to me. But this Thursday that passed, well, I had a town hall meeting, and I shared in Councilman Reeves' pain, his anger, and grief, because there was a standoff with the SWAT team because a man that had mental illness shot and killed, murdered his childhood best friend over nothing important. And Quintavious Gooden was gunned down. I personally knew him. He had volunteered with me on my campaign back in 2016 for community service hours for school. His wife is like a daughter to me, and now she's a 27-year-old widow. He was 28. They have a 10-month-old daughter that'll never see him again, a 5-year-old son that I heard screaming, "Daddy, I want my daddy," and he paced up and down the halls after his mother told him that his daddy went with the angels. So I have just been, to be honest, out of sorts. My colleagues have been consoling me because this violence is out of control, and it's over nothing. It's over a lot of stupid stuff. And as it relates to us as adults, there's a lot of hatred going on. I've experienced a lot of hatred on social media from grown people. Just because you don't agree with someone doesn't mean that you have to tear somebody down. It doesn't mean that you have to kill somebody. It just means that you have an opinion. And so I would encourage, our city received an award as a city of civility. And I want to encourage our citizens to step up to the plate, even in difficult times like this. This is difficult for me because I don't agree with everybody, but I try to be on my best behavior. I try to be reasonable. I try to be, open-minded sometimes, But we have to set an example. I know I try my best to set an example for my grown sons that when you are in the middle of conflict, It just can't be that serious where you want someone dead, or you want to see someone fail, or you want to see somebody tore down, or you want to see somebody without a home, without a job, without a life. What has this world come to? Well, this is what we deal with. So I do want to encourage you to just be peaceful, to self-reflect, to pull yourself back in the middle of whatever your opinion is or your stance, and just remember that somebody else just wants to live and wants to live in peace as well. But I thank you all that are here in this audience for coming out, because obviously you take what we do seriously and the issues that we bring forth seriously. So I thank you for coming out this evening.
Okay. First of all, I would like to thank those residents of District 6 and some from District 5 who came out on Saturday for the first farmers market on Old National. Greatly appreciate you showing up to support, and am glad that we finally got this off the ground after a year of trying. We are working to add more vendors, to add more produce, so do come back on the first Saturday of August. We will be having the farmers market first and third Saturdays from now until October. On July 29th will be the Back to School Carnival in District 6 in Creel Park at 4:30. Please do come out for that. We have lots of fun activities for adults as well as the children. So do come and enjoy yourself at the carnival. If your child attends Love T. Nolan, or I believe Bethune is the other elementary school, there will be book bags with supplies for students who attend either Love T. Nolan Elementary or Bethune Elementary. And that is all. Mr. Clerk, with that being said, Mr. Clerk, if you will please sound the next item.
That brings us to item 21 on tonight's agenda, override of mayor's vetoes. We have 5 items listed. The first is consideration of city council override of mayor's veto of a request for approval of a resolution to update and/or amend the City of South Fulton Police Department's policies, procedures, and/or general orders related to seizure, forfeiture, and disposal of assets and/or property, and for other lawful purposes. This resolution was sponsored by Councilwoman Willis.
Thank you. I will entertain a motion.
Okay, I would like to take actually 21, 22, and 23, 24, and 25 together, but I'll read each one of them to override the mayor's veto, since all of them were voted previously 7-0. Consideration for the city council override of the mayor's veto for the approval of resolution to update and/or amend the City of South Fulton Police Department's policies, procedures, and/or general orders related to seizures, forfeiture, and disposal of assets and/or property or in other lawful purposes. Request for approval to amend the fiscal year 2023 budget to draw down for the confiscated asset fund number 210 to procure the services of a company to discard items no longer needed for dissolve an investigation in the amount of $42,000. Also to request approval to procure the services of A1 shredding and recycling for $41,350 to dispose of items in accordance with Fulton County Order for Disposal of Evidence utilizing confiscated asset fund number 210. Also to a request for approval to purchase and provide 50% down payment to LDV Custom Specialty Vehicles to procure a South Fulton Police Department mobile van vehicle in the amount of $778,698, utilizing South Fulton PD capital account. And lastly, a request for approval to purchase a mini robot for the SWAT team for ICOR technology for a total amount not to exceed $75,369.23, utilizing police capital account.
Second.
Thank you. It has been properly moved and seconded that we override the mayor vetoes of items number 21 through 25. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, are we ready for the question? Mr. Clerk, roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Councilmember Rowell.
Yes.
Councilmember Gumbs.
Yes.
Councilmember Willis.
Yes.
Councilmember Sebastian.
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves.
I want to be clear. I am voting nay to 21, 22, and 23, yay to 24 and 25, but because it's all lumped in together, I have to vote nay because I can't do it independently. So I want that on the record. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Williams-Brown
Yes.
and Councilmember Pritchett.
Yes.
That override was approved, 6-1.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Please sound the next item.
That brings us to executive session.
Thank you. I will entertain a motion for executive session.
Madam Chair, I move that we go into executive session for personnel and for real estate.
Second.
Thank you. It has been properly moved and seconded that we go into executive session for the purposes of personnel, litigation, and real estate. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, are we ready for the question? Mr. Clerk, roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Councilmember Rowell.
Yes.
Councilmember Gumbs. Councilmember Willis.
Yes.
Councilmember Sebastian.
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves. Mayor Pro Tem Williams-Brown.
Yes.
Councilmember Pritchett.
Yes.
We are recessed at 5:08 p.m. Thank you.
Woo. Went for a joyride. Let me show you something. We ready? You ready? You ready? Okay. Okay. And we're back. I will entertain a motion to reconvene.
Motion to reconvene.
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded that we reconvene. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, are we ready for the question? Mr. Clerk, roll call vote.
Roll call vote to reconvene. Councilmember Rowell.
Yes.
Councilmember Gumbs.
Yes.
Councilmember Willis.
Yes.
Councilmember Sebastian.
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves. Mayor Pro Tem Williams-Brown.
Yes.
Councilmember Pritchett.
Yes.
We are reconvened at 6:26 p.m.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, were there any items in executive session requiring a public vote?
Yes, actually, there will be, the next two items will be handled in the course of the agenda.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, if you would please sound the next items.
That brings us to item 26 under Personnel. Request council approval of amendment number 1 to a contract with the interim city manager services.
Thank you. I will entertain a motion.
Honorable Chair, I would like to motion that we request council approval of the amendment number 1 to a contract for interim city manager services with the following amendments, that we extend that contract to up to 24 months with no immediate increase in pay. And also, Madam City Manager would submit performance indicator reports every 3 months. And we expect this contract will get us through the election season and into 2024.
Second.
Thank you. It has been properly moved and seconded that we approve amendment number 1 to a contract for interim city manager services. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, are we ready for the question? Mr. Clerk, roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Councilmember Rowell.
Yes.
Councilmember Gumbs.
Yes.
Councilmember Willis.
Yes.
Councilmember
Yes.
Sebastian.
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves. Mayor Pro Tem Williams-Brown.
Yes.
Councilmember Pritchett.
Yes.
That item is approved unanimously.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, please sound the next item.
Next item is item 27, request council approval of amendment number 1 to professional service agreement with Caring Solutions, LLC.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion. I want to actually take 27, 28, and 29 together. I'd like to make a motion to approve, request council approval for amendment to number 1 to a professional service agreement with Caring Solutions, LLC. Item number 28, request for approval to enter into a professional service agreement with NFBPA I4X to provide interim management, chief financial officer, and management consulting services for the finance department in the amount of $221,313. Also, item 29, council requests approval to enter into an amendment for number 1 to a professional service agreement with NFBPA I4X to provide interim management, chief financial officer, and chief management consultancy and policy services for the finance department. Funds are available in fiscal year 23 professional services budget.
Second.
Thank you. It has been properly moved and seconded that we approve items number 27, 28, and 29. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, are we ready for the question? Mr. Clerk, roll call vote.
Roll call vote to approve item 27, 28, and 29. Councilmember Rowell.
Yes.
Councilmember Gumbs.
Yes.
Councilmember Willis.
Yes.
Councilmember Sebastian.
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves. Mayor Pro Tem Williams-Brown.
Yes.
Councilmember Pritchett.
Yes.
Those items were approved unanimously.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, please sound the next item.
That brings us to item 30, which is first read of an ordinance to amend Section 1-3010, Chapter 3, Mayor and Council of Title I, Administration, regarding the compensation and expenses for the mayor and council members and for other lawful purposes.
I move. Oh,
Mr.
sorry.
First read.
I actually want to, if you don't mind, Mayor Pro Tem, go ahead and entertain the first read from number 30 to 34, and I can read the captions. First read of ordinance to amend Section 13010, Chapter 3, Mayor and Council of Title I, Administration regarding compensation and expenses for the mayor, council members, and other lawful purposes. First read of an ordinance to amend 1.6 internal auditor of the City of South Fulton Charter for other lawful purposes. Number 32, first read of ordinance to amend the City of South Fulton Code of Ordinance and the City of South Fulton zoning ordinance by amending various sections of Title V zoning and planning for the purposes of updating city procedures. Number 33, first read of an ordinance to amend Section 4.11, boards of the City South Fulton Charter for other lawful purposes. And then lastly, item 34, first read of ordinance to amend the City of South Fulton Code of Ordinance by amending Title VI, Health and Sanitation for the purpose of updating the smoke-free ordinance for other lawful purposes. I yield. Thank you.
Councilwoman Pritchett.
Yes, I would like to substitute that with just one administrative change for item number 33. I would like to have Mayor Pro Tem included as a co-sponsor on this.
Thank you. So noted.
Discussion on 33, Madam Mayor.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Councilman Sebastian.
Councilmember Pritchett, if you could clarify something for me. I think this is the ordinance in which we're going to have mandatory training for board members. Is that the ordinance, or is it in here someplace? Item 33.
Yes.
Okay. In the details that I read, I wasn't sure whether the training was going to have to happen as the people are appointed, or if the clerk was going to have to have an annual training session. And the reason why I'm asking that is there are times, I think just as tonight, when we are appointing a new board member. So will the clerk have to have a special training for that person, or would it be done like an annual training? I'm just conscious of the amount of work we'll have to put on the clerk every time we have a board member appointed. That's why I wanted clarification on, if you have it.
Can I respond to you?
Yeah.
So, Councilman, the purpose for this in its totality is just to make sure that people who are serving on boards understand parliamentary procedure, Robert's Rules of Order. When I came on the council, the clerk provided us with a thick book and then the pocket book. So basically, in the lowest threshold of what we're talking about, at least, that there are the materials made available to them for reference, so that when they have meetings, that people understand their roles and understand how to function within parliamentary procedure. Because I have received reports that there have been different issues or incidents that take place when people don't understand how to maneuver through a board and the role of a chair and the role of, other persons on the board. So it was just to bring clarity so that there's order, and then there's also materials to reference. But I'll let Mr. Clerk speak as to the rest of how he would like to.
Could I jump in for a minute?
Yes.
So I believe that the initial, to specifically answer your question, that new board members would be trained as they come on and then renewed annually thereafter.
So training is a part of
Yes.
this ordinance?
So yes, that's a part of it, is that we've asked the clerk to coordinate training, so as we're appointing somebody new, they will have the opportunity to get training, and then each year, everybody that's been appointed will be able to have that.
Okay, thank you for
Have the annual
providing the
training.
clarity, because I know I read in there that there was some training
Yeah,
that the
that's fair.
clerk should be doing. Thank you.
Councilwoman Willis.
If I'm not mistaken, did I, because I had a conversation with you, Councilmember Pritchett, wasn't this the impetus of this ordinance or this first read was to make sure whatever board our constituents were appointed to, that the board had the capability to choose their own chair?
I believe that there is there may be a separate ordinance for that.
So this is,
I'm sorry, that's item 32, which is what you're referencing.
okay, so I wasn't familiar with this ordinance. So this ordinance 33 is referencing the training.
Yes.
And then 32 is referencing the makeup of the board.
Yes.
Yeah, the chair of the planning commission as well as the board of zoning appeals.
Right. And I do think that's more than fair, that the people on boards decide who should be the chair, and that not be appointed by this body. Thank you. I yield.
Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, are we ready for the question?
Those are all first read.
Right.
Oh, all
Okay.
first reads, never, okay, we're rocking and rolling. Mr. Clerk, please sound the next item.
So that brings us to number 35 on the printed agenda, Public Works and Code Enforcement. Request for approval to enter into an agreement with Pariani Real Estate LLC to provide services for upper and lower restroom renovations at Sandtown Recreation Center in the amount of $180,897.40. This agreement is a change order from the contract, which is a piggyback of cooperative agreement GA issued by Sourcewell, a statewide cooperative organization. Funds are available in the FY23 capital improvement budget.
I move that we approve agreement with Parani Real Estate LLC to provide services for the upper and lower restroom renovations at Sandtown Rec Center in amount of $180,897.40. This agreement is a change order for the contract, which is a piggyback of cooperative agreement Georgia issued by Sourcewell, and the funding is available from the fiscal year 23 capital improvement budget. And I also approve the request for award of a contract for ITB 23-27 Welcome All Pool Equipment Replacement Project to United Pool in amount of $121,595.25. And the funding comes from the facilities capital improvement budget.
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded that we approve items number 35 and 36 on the agenda. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, are we ready for the question? Mr. Clerk, roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Councilmember Rowell.
Yes.
Councilmember Gumbs.
Yes.
Councilmember Willis.
Yes.
Councilmember Sebastian.
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves. Mayor Pro Tem Williams-Brown.
Yes.
Councilmember Pritchett. Items 35 and 36 were approved unanimously.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Please sound the next item.
Next item is item 37. Request approval of the award of contract for ITB 2319 Rivertown Road at Cedar Grove Road Improvement Project to CMC Incorporated. The cost is $2,340,710 plus a 10% contingency fee. The funds are available in the T-SPLOS 1 fund.
I move that,
Madam Chair, I move for approval for the award of the contract for ITB 23-19 for Rivertown Road and Cedar Grove Improvement Project. The cost is $2.3 million plus a 10% contingency fee. The funds are available in T-SPLOS 1 fund.
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded that we approve item number 37 on the agenda. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, are we ready for the question? Mr. Clerk, roll call vote.
Roll call vote, Councilmember Rowell.
Yes.
Councilmember Gumbs.
Yes.
Councilmember Willis. Councilmember Sebastian.
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves. Mayor Pro Tem Williams-Brown.
Yes.
Councilmember Pritchett.
Yes.
That item is approved unanimously.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, please sound the next item.
Next item is item 38, request approval of ratification of payment to Eagle Demolition for $534,874.75 in payments made from October 27, 2022 through April 7, 2023. An additional approval is requested in the amount of $12,500. This is in code enforcement.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the ratification of payment to Eagle Demolition for $534,874.75 in payments made from October 27, 2022 through April of 7 through 2023. An additional approval of payment in the amount of $12,500 is also requested. I also would like to take item number 39, request approval to purchase 2 fire engine pumpers and 2 fire aerial trucks for Fearless Flames via financing. The cost for the pumpers is $898,150. Is that?
I think this is here.
Okay, each for a total of $1,796,300. The cost for the aerials is $1,915,401, each for a total of $3,830,802. The total cost, Lord have mercy, for $5,627,102 pre-financing cost. There will be an additional financing charge. There's a price increase of $298,724 from May's request. The funds are available in our fire capital improvement budget. Also, item 40 is the request council approval to approve acceptance of the governor's public safety and community violence reduction grant in the amount of $1,548,305. There's no local match necessary for the grant. However, the funding will be given on a reimbursement basis, meaning that City of South Fulton will have to front the monies first. And item 41, lastly, is a resolution specifying the permissible use for the official use of the seal and other official insignias of the City of South Fulton and for all other lawful purposes.
Second.
Discussion, item 40.
It has been properly moved and seconded that we approve items number 39, 40, and 41. Is there any discussion? Councilwoman Willis, followed by Sebastian, followed by Reeves.
I just want to make it a point on item 40 that Governor Kemp did a press release on the various municipalities and county agencies throughout the state of Georgia that he awarded monies, grants to improve public safety and to support public safety. And it's just a good testament of the great relationship and rapport that our police chief has built with our state agency, and it is commended that he did, foster getting $1.5 million to help with the safety and community violence reduction grant here in the City of South Fulton. Thank you.
Councilman Sebastian.
Thank you, Madam Chair. City Manager, I just have a question around the price increase on item 39 of $298,724. Seems as if we had a jump in almost $300,000. Why did that happen? Is it just inflation or?
Yes, the cost of materials are escalating. So between the time when we originally got that quote to the time that it came before you to now, they have experienced price increases. We didn't have an opportunity to lock it in. This is also coming to you because the name of the vendor was not correct on your May agenda.
And have we locked in the current pricing?
Well, as soon as this is approved, we'll make sure that a purchase order gets produced immediately. to make sure we don't find ourselves in this position again.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Reeves.
I have a discussion on item number 40. Is there an implementation portion of how this grant is going to be spent? I know it's for the implementation of Real-Time Crime Center and the deployment of other resources. And I was at the 100 Hartsfield Center today, and I saw we have already purchased a Real-Time Crime Center, and I didn't see the assets there. And so the implementation of this, is this going to cover what, and what is the timeline for this to be implemented, and the deployment of the assets so throughout the community to assist in this Real-Time Crime Center?
Yes, we have a plan. While we do have the software, they're essentially working off of workstations. This grant will allow us to develop the Real-Time Crime Center with the large monitors that will be in that space that is designated. The purchase of the Fuchsia's Crime Center software platform, and at a more robust level. And that is $125,000 a year for 4 years. The purchase of gunshot detection, which that is a big help to police when you have gunshot detection, especially in high crime areas. You talked earlier about the murders in your district.
4 specifically last week.
4 specifically last week. This allows for, it really is a force multiplier for our officers so that they can solve these crimes. And it's also a deterrent when they're in place. The purchase of flock license plate reader cameras to be deployed in our higher crime areas over and above what has already been committed, and also purchase of live 911 software. For the RTCC as well as patrol officers are going to be able to hear the calls essentially as they're coming in. So it's a multifaceted approach. I'm very honored that the governor selected us. With over 500 cities in the state of Georgia, it really is an honor to be selected. And these will be put to good use, especially in our high crime areas.
We do hope so, because the deployment of the gunshot detection software means that we already currently have those assets in place, and the deployment of it means that they're going to be installed. Because if we approve this here today, then tomorrow they should be getting to work on the areas where the heaviest gunshots and crimes come in and the calls come in for gunshots. Could that be correct?
I believe that you're going to see some of this come back to you for approval because some of these will be items that are over my spending limit. So these are to expand some of the things that you've already approved because we want to cover more area.
Madam Superintendent, I will take you to if you could just go over to 100 Hartsfield Center and see it for yourself, because the implementation of this real-time crime software will require the IT connection, and there might be some things that prevent that from happening at the current location. And at the same time, I thought that we was occupying the entire second floor. However, it's only half of it because Trump motorcycles are still occupying the other half. And I just want to just take a look at that lease as well, and so to see where we're at with that. Because I think there could be use of the funds inclusive of all of that, plus some other preventative measures that can take place. However, that's your call. But I'm just going to say that, you know, until we see the assets, until we see a plan of metrics of installation to completion of installation, I cannot agree with this. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, are we ready for the question? Mr. Clerk, roll call vote.
Roll call vote to approve items 38, 39, 40, and 41. Councilmember Rowell.
Yes.
Councilmember Gumbs.
Yes.
Councilmember Willis.
Yes.
Councilmember Sebastian.
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves.
I'm saying yay to 38, 39, and 41, but nay to 40. Because it's lumped in, my vote is nay.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Williams Brown.
Yes.
Councilmember Pritchett.
Yes.
Those items are approved 6-1.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Please sound the next item.
That brings us to the end of the agenda, executive session.
Move to adjourn.
I like
Madam
second.
Chair, may I have a moment of personal privileges, please?
Councilman Sebastian.
I just want to take this opportunity, I know it was, I think, yesterday, I believe, to wish our city manager happy birthday.
Thank you.
And tell you, thank you for putting up with us and helping to keep us straight. So, happy birthday. I know you're a Cancer because I have one myself. So,
Yes.
thank you again. Thank you for the job that you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Okay, it has been properly moved and seconded that we adjourn the July 18th meeting of the City of South Fulton City Council. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, are we ready for the question?
Yes.
Mr. Clerk, roll call vote.
Roll call vote to adjourn. Councilmember Rowell.
Yes, job
Councilmember
well done.
Gumbs. Councilmember Willis.
Yes.
Councilmember Sebastian.
Yes.
Councilmember Reeves. Mayor Pro Tem Williams Brown.
Yes.
Councilmember Pritchett.
Yes.
This meeting is adjourned at 6:51 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.